Good morning again. Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a subject to you that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and that is the difference between action and inaction, especially when communication is involved and expectations, rules, policies, that kind of stuff. Turns out there's a very important difference, and frequently people will abuse the confusion about opposites. In general, they do. They will capitalize sometimes in an unscrupulous way when people confuse or they aren't perfectly clear about the difference between two opposites. This happens all the time, actually. And a perfect example is requiring action, trying to require action when all you can really do is require inaction. These are two different things, and it sounds a little bit complicated on the surface, but let me explain. So there's something called dependability, enforceability, where you can reasonably expect something, a plan, to be plausible, to somehow be reasonable and come to fruition if you roll it out. And then there's the opposite, which is a plan that wouldn't work or that is undependable. It may work, it may not, but you can't depend on it. And there are a million, perhaps infinite reasons why something might not happen. That's different than something happening. So right here we have a difference, and it sounds complicated still, so hopefully I can make this make sense. So when you expect somebody, for example, to do something, maybe they agreed to it, maybe it's part of their job, maybe you've given them an instruction. It may happen logically. It may also not happen for a lot of reasons, right? They might be blocked. They might fall ill. They might die. I mean, these things happen. And it's just not reasonable or plausible to 100% expect somebody to do something, to act. Whereas you can 100% with confidence expect an absence of action within an agreement. It's something that you could potentially expect without interference. Inaction is dependable logically, where action is not. Now here's the thing. Our entire infrastructure, so many manuals, policies, books, laws, whatever they are, they seem to expect action many times. And this should seem wrong on the surface. It kind of does. If you just objectively look at a rule or expectation that requires somebody to do something, it feels different, doesn't it? If you think about it, than blocking somebody, saying this is prohibited. That's a whole different thing. But my point here isn't that it's right or wrong. It's that there is an effort on the part of people who lack scruples to confuse these things on purpose. They have noticed, I think, that people confuse opposites many, many times. And this tendency of people to confuse opposites is used as a weapon against them. And it's an attack on many things, not the least of which is communication itself. Information is damaging to people who have things to hide. Information is a threat to liars, pretty much exclusively, only liars. So if you see these things, if you see people exploiting tendencies where people are naturally confused by certain things, or like I said, the opposite is swapped in for something and then redirected. There are these attacks, and I might actually make a different video itemizing some of the bigger attacks, and this is just one of them. But there are a lot of ways where information is used against people just by design, not even the content, but the way it is delivered. There are grifts, exploits, if you will, where people are abused and parted with their belongings or their choices. This happens every day, and it bothers me. It's a problem. I like to see people make their own choices, because that makes for a stronger society. It makes it for a stronger community when people are empowered to think for themselves, because it's the only way it'll work. The only other alternative is you're supporting the demon at the top somehow. I don't want to do that. I don't trust that guy, whoever he is, or her, whoever. So anyway, have an independent day. think for yourself, chew your own food, be happy and healthy, and reach out with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.